more folks in the waiting room? Okay, great. We'll get started then. Welcome, everyone. Hello, bonjour, Annie. My name is Lourdes. I'm from EcoSchools Canada. Welcome to our session today. I will be your facilitator. Lauren is our Zoom host today, and I'll be in charge of all of our tech. And just a reminder that this session is being recorded, so you can keep your camera off if you'd like. Okay, let me just begin with a blind acknowledgement. So I reside and actually work in Toronto, and we acknowledge the traditional territory upon which the conference is being hosted. For many thousands of years, the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit, have sought to walk gently on this land. This territory is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, as well as by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the lands and resources around the Great Lakes. This acknowledgement signals our desire to seek a new relationship with the original peoples of this land, one based on honor and deep respect, and is a starting point to remind us all to enact this work in our personal and professional lives. Okay, thank you. So let's just get into it. Welcome again for folks. We are in the Tracking Collective Impact in Schools from coast to coast. I'd like to present our speakers today. So we have Sierra Frank and Ryan Dyment, my colleagues here at EcoSchools Canada. So Sierra is the Director of Programs at EcoSchools. Sierra brings over 15 years of experience working in the environment and education sectors. Over the past 5 years, Sierra has worked with EcoSchools Canada to develop programming and resources to support action-oriented and eco-literate school communities. Sierra loves crafting, reading nonfiction, and exploring outside with her toddler and dog. Sierra has a BES from York University, as well as a BEd from the University of Toronto. And Ryan, I'd like to introduce Ryan, our Director of Finance and Administration here at EcoSchools. Ryan is a chartered accountant and has almost 18 years of experience in the accounting and finance sector. Ryan's role in this project is to manage the budget, provide strategic direction, and work with project partners across the country. Prior to joining EcoSchools, Ryan worked as an auditor with KPMG for 6 years and has had leadership roles in the nonprofit and charitable sector for 12 years. Ryan currently serves on the board of the Recycling Council of Ontario and has previous board experience at the Wildlife Preservation Canada, Planet in Focus, and Institute for a Resource-Based Economy. And without further ado, Ryan and Sierra.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen here so we can have a presentation behind us.
Excellent. So I see our slides are here and we're ready to go. And thanks, Lourdes, for the introduction, and Lauren for all of your support with tech. So hello and welcome to everyone to Tracking Collective Impact in Schools from Coast to Coast to Coast. In this session, we will be providing an overview of the EcoSchools Canada program and collective impact framework by showcasing EcoSchools online application and highlighting innovative practices in the program. So as you heard, I'm Sierra, Program Director with EcoSchools Canada, hosting today with Ryan, and we're both so excited to be here and sharing with you today. So here's our agenda. First, we'll be looking at who we are and how EcoSchools supports environmental leadership in schools. Next, we'll be exploring the EcoSchools certification application, including what an action card looks like by focusing on the Young Reporters for the Environment action and how the online application tracks collective impact across the country. We will then be looking at how the program can tell a national story from coast to coast to coast by sharing best practices and inspiring stories, and through unique partnerships with schools, community organizations, students, teachers, school boards and districts, and community members. And finally, we'll wrap up with a short question and answer. So if you do have any questions, we'd love to answer those at the end of the session. Okay, so let's get started at looking at who we are. Since 2005, EcoSchools Canada's certification framework has provided independent reporting and recognition for schools and outdoor environmental education centers. Reaching about 1 million students annually, we are the largest bilingual, voluntary environmental certification program for K-12 schools across Canada. The caveat is that in Quebec, we're actually K-11 schools. And the program is open to all schools across Canada. So this includes both English and French language schools, Indigenous schools, independent and private schools, and outdoor environmental education centers that are associated with school boards and districts specifically. And our award-winning curriculum-linked framework supports school communities as they assess, track, benchmark, and celebrate environmental excellence, all while nurturing environmental learning and climate action. So EcoSchools Canada is the Canadian national operator for the International EcoSchools program, which is overseen by the Foundation for Environmental Education, which is also known as FEE. And FEE is endorsed by the United Nations Environment Program and the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which is also aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as a member of FEE, EcoSchools Canada is part of a community of 67 other national EcoSchools programs around the world. So our mission is to nurture student leaders, reduce the environmental impact of schools, and build sustainable school communities. And our vision is every school an eco-school, from individual behaviors to collective impact. All members of a school community are empowered with the knowledge, skills, perspective, and desire to act as environmentally responsible citizens. Last year, we reached 50,000 student leaders in 2,000 certified eco-schools. And our certified eco-schools were supported by and connected to over 80 community partners and organizations across Canada and through the EcoSchools network. It is our lofty goal to reach 2 million students by 2022. And this year, we officially launched the EcoSchools program across all of Canada. And while it has presented, of course, certain challenges as Canada and the world struggle to overcome the pandemic, we are heartened to have over 1,000 schools in 9 different provinces and territories register with the program this year. So this includes schools in the Northwest Territories, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. The EcoSchools program aims to both support and incentivize action by helping school communities build environmental leadership and capacity for students, staff, and communities at large, recognize excellence with robust reporting and collective impact frameworks, connect to local resources through a strong network of regional and national partners, support Canada's commitment to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as well as improving the operational efficiency of school buildings. In fact, we know that through participation in the EcoSchools certification program, schools and school boards reduce their environmental footprint and operating costs. Through various third-party studies that have been that can be found on our website, we've learned that certified EcoSchools reduce energy costs by changing behaviors within the school, and that certified platinum EcoSchools, which is the highest level of achievement in certification, produce 57% less waste on average than non-certified schools, which then results in fewer waste pickups and more efficient school-based systems. The EcoSchools program integrates and encourages numerous approaches to learning with a focus on experiential, outdoor, system thinking, project-based, and community-connected learning. It also helps to develop leadership skills for students. Each action encourages students to take a leading role in the planning, communication, implementation, tracking, and celebration of projects, actions, and campaigns. The program also helps to build leadership opportunities for staff, especially teachers who have reported that participation in the EcoSchools program has provided not only opportunities for professional development, but also career advancement as well. The program helps to build important skill sets, including digital literacy with our online application. It supports global competencies and helps to develop engaged citizens. And very importantly, the program is easily connected to curriculum and integrated into class lessons across all grades and subject areas. And of course, at the root of the EcoSchools program is a desire to drive environmental change. The program helps to build capacity, agency, and awareness among youth, helping to develop environmental champions, caretakers, and citizens of the future. More quantitatively, the program helps to reduce environmental impacts and then tracks change at a school level and collectively at board and district levels, regional levels, and also at a national level. So everything from tracking energy use, an increase in biodiversity on school grounds, reducing GHG emissions, minimizing waste, conserving water, and overall improving the operational efficiency of schools. While each school implements actions at a hyper-local level, most can be connected to global issues, movements, and initiatives. Each EcoSchools action supports Canada's commitment to achieving the UN SDGs, and each action is directly connected to at least one of the SDGs. This also helps students and teachers to situate themselves, their learning, and also their action in a global context. This infographic on the screen showcases the 40+ actions that are currently found on the EcoSchools platform and their connection to the most relevant SDG. So how does certification work? Well, each year schools apply for certification by registering on the online certification application, which we call the ECA. Then students, staff, parents, and guardians and community partners can collaborate to create an annual environmental action plan for their school, which is based on student interests, school need and capacity, regional priorities, and curriculum. It is very flexible and it is designed to meet the unique needs and interests of each school community. Schools then begin to undertake environmental actions, campaigns, and projects, each which can be initiated by an eco team or student club, individual classrooms, or the whole school. As actions are completed, they are recorded on the online application to earn points. So actions such as walking to school, bringing in a waste-free lunch, or promoting water conservation can earn schools points towards their certification. The depth and extent of the actions as they're completed will determine a school's final certification level. There are 4 levels of certification, everything from bronze to silver, gold, and then platinum again, which is our highest level of achievement. And for schools that begin an application but don't have the capacity to earn enough points to be certified at the bronze level, can still submit their application for recognition as a participant and are a welcome member of our community. And all applications are submitted in the middle of May, the second Friday of May to be specific. And then EcoSchools Canada assesses each school based on a standard established over a decade of benchmarking. This infographic here on the screen showcases the steps to certification. So essentially first people come together to connect to get the program started for the year. Then they begin to collaborate by reviewing their objectives and setting their goals. Next comes planning as schools create a custom environmental action plan, followed by engagement of the school community in various environmental actions and campaigns. After each action, there is an opportunity to reflect on successes and opportunities for future improvements. And finally, there's a celebration, which is an important part of the EcoSchools program. And school communities can celebrate their hard work and many accomplishments. So the program provides an opportunity for collaboration, leadership, learning, and action. For students, the program provides opportunities for students to select, learn about, and initiate various campaigns. It also provides opportunities for peer-to-peer mentorship and a way to learn about sustainability, all while having fun, of course. For teachers, the program integrates seamlessly with curricula across Canada and offers unique opportunities for hands-on learning. For school boards and districts, the program can result in lower energy and waste outputs from school buildings and also offer a regional network between schools for sharing best practices and resources. For local and regional partners, EcoSchools can help to both promote local resources, organizations, and programs, as well as recognize schools for participation in these local programs as well. And finally, the program encourages engagement with the broader community, so including parents and guardians, local businesses, and community members when appropriate. So as I mentioned, the EcoSchools Certification Application, or ECA, is the EcoSchools online certification platform, and it's how a school applies for annual certification. The current version of the ECA was developed in 2020 and is the result of over 3.5 years of consultation and testing with community partners, educators, and youth. It leverages digital engagement and gamification to support behavior change and student-led action across the whole school community. The application houses over 40 environmental climate change actions with corresponding resources and provides schools with the opportunity to curate a unique action plan that can be updated and revised throughout the year and also year over year as priorities change. Participating schools track their individual and collective impact, and then on the back end of the platform, it collects data which enables schools to benchmark their progress and also compare their success across the National EcoSchools Network. So now I'm going to hand it over to Ryan, who's actually going to demo the online platform and showcase everything that it does. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Sierra, for that. I'm just going to switch screens here so I can get to this. So yeah, we'll hop into the ECA. It's just a simple login screen to get to where I am here. Everybody that's part of a public school can register for free, as Sierra mentioned, and log in. Whether or not they decide they want to be a certified school, you can get an account for free and start looking around and testing it out. So I'll show you how to do that now. But of course, this year it's a bit late in the process to do it. But if you were to think about doing this next year, this is the process you would go through. So when you first enter the ECA, there'll be a little welcome message, and this is the dashboard. You'll typically see this as your plan progress. So one of the first things that we ask you to do is to create a plan, and that can be done with your school. It could be done, depending on the capacity. Maybe just the teacher is going to choose which actions are most appropriate, or the administrator of the plan. But it is a great opportunity for students to get together and talk about what actions they would like to take on during the year, what campaigns and actions. So we'll get into how to do that and what this plan looks like. This is an imaginary school here. But you can see here just a few things that this school is looking to get 250 points, quite a lot of points for this year. They've so far accumulated 19 points, so they're on their way to bronze. And you'll see that this progress is live. So as you accumulate more points and you update this platform, you'll progress further along. And so the current level is participant. This is where they would get if they ended today. The plan is due on May 14th, so there's 20 days remaining. And these upcoming dates and deadlines are just nice reminders of what's coming up, depending on the actions that you've chosen and what dates you've set to take on those actions. So say you were planning a gardening initiative and you're in the fall now and you're planning on doing it in the spring, you might set the date there in advance so you can see and track that here. And the whole team will have access to this page. So both students, teachers, administrators, parents, school communities, anybody can have access to it. There isn't really a limit. The only thing that we do is we limit students' ability to submit the plan at the end. That has to be done by the plan administrator. So next thing I'll show you here is our library, and this is where the fun of online shopping comes in. There are over 40 actions in the library, and these are changing and increasing. There'll be more next year for sure. And we work with different kinds of partners and have a lot of experience over 15 years of what actions are popular and what work in K-12 schools in Canada. So we've developed each one of these actions, and we'll dive into one specifically. But just as an example, I mean, there's a little bit of a headline here and some explanation of what these are about. And of course, when you click on one, you'll get to more details, which we'll get to in a minute. But just showing you the depth here, the breadth of all the actions, energy actions, waste actions. If you wanted to search, you weren't sure, and you didn't want to go through that way, you can search for all the energy actions and say the climate change actions and search for those. And you'll see all the ones that are connected to energy and climate change. And once you've selected an action you want to add it to your plan, it's as simple as pressing the plus button. And your plan automatically updates. So now I'm eligible for 260 points. And when we jump into our plan, it's easy to remove them as well. Oh, this one's already in our plan. A waste audit might not be the most popular action in a COVID year, so I can remove it from my plan, even just here. I can also search by name if I have a name in mind. Some actions that your school might already be doing or has been doing for many years might not fit directly into one of these categories. And if not, we do have some create your own actions. And these ones are much more open and flexible, and they really could be customized to your school and then what you choose to do if they don't fit anywhere else. And what we'll do at the end of each year is take a look at them. And if there are some popular ones that we think are very beneficial for others to know about, we can make that into an action that more schools will have access to in the following year. So what I'll do is I'll jump into our plan here. And these are the actions that we've chosen, as this imaginary school has chosen to do this year. You'll see that each action has an assigned number of points, so 10 points. This action's in progress here. These ones are in progress. Some of them haven't yet started. Again, if I wanted to remove one, so I wanted to remove this one, it'll just disappear from my plan just like that. And today I thought we'd go over the Young Reporters for the Environment action. So this is just an example of an action, but most of the actions have a very similar setup. Just the content would be different. So they're, you don't have to relearn each time. They're very easy to see. So what we have here is a more detailed description. Do you have a story to tell the world? This is an environmental journalism action card. And the competition is actually a nationwide competition. Students can actually compete without having to participate in the EcoSchools program directly, but if they do participate in EcoSchools in our platform here, then they will get points towards the certification for participating. And so we encourage them that way. So you'll see is a little bit of an explanation. There are two categories for the YRE program. And actually the YRE program is an international competition. So we have a separate website for it that is linked in this action card. And the winners of the Canadian version actually get entered into an international competition where they could win even bigger prizes. They also have curriculum links. Please note that these links are fairly general because we are a national program and we haven't customized them for each province or region in Canada, though in future years it might get more specific. That's the plan over the summer. We also have fee themes. So as Sierra mentioned, we're a member of the Foundation for Environmental Education with a Canadian version of that. There are EcoSchools programs in over 90 countries now to some degree. And the fee has their own themes. So if you wanted to learn more about the fee themes, you can just click there. I don't know how to get rid of this thing, but you'll learn more about fee on their website. So it just links you right there. But this action card actually connects to all of them because it's a journalism card and it's quite versatile in the articles that you can, or photos that you can submit. SDGs is the same way, so this action card can be connected to actually any of the SDGs. And if you want to learn more about the SDGs, you just click that link there. EcoSchools in Action, these are some highlights of the YRE program over the years. You can see folks working in Toronto there. This was one of the winning photos from a few years ago, third prize winner. And this was actually an international winner, this one, in 2019. So once you've kind of seen that little introduction to the card, whether or not you've added it to the plan, you can also browse the action guide. And this is really where the work starts happening. In here, you'll see some detailed descriptions of things to consider before you begin. Of course, for this competition, you must be between 11 and 18, so it's not available for everyone, all of our schools, but a good majority of the schools can participate. You can see there are some rules here. And if you want to know full contest details, you can just click on this link here and you'll get sent to a separate web page. So we haven't embedded the YRE competition fully into the platform because we do want to make it available to students who haven't signed up for our program yet as an EcoSchool, so they can access it another way. This is, then we have a way to get started. So here are some steps to take. And keep in mind, a lot of these steps, this is based on our experience with the topic and what we have seen schools accomplish. And so it is in a way some best practices and getting started in the tips. But if your school wants to do it differently, we are very flexible. And as you'll see, as we continue through the card, there are ways of earning points, very flexibly, depending on how you are taking on this action at your school. It might be done as a classroom project. It might be done as just a few individuals on the eco team want to do it, or it could be a full school competition. for this particular action card. There's also a handbook here with some more materials that you can access, and there's the resource page here, which actually has some videos on how to do some writing, some photos, and some videos. And then extending the learning is really about how do you incorporate this either as an eco team and discuss and extend the learning, but also as a classroom exercise. So we incorporate both of those. Certification questions here. This is where you start earning your points. So once you've added an action to your plan, let's say you wanted to start it today. Of course, the deadline is tomorrow, so it's a good time to get started. We might want to do it as a classroom exercise here. How many students want to do it? Well, we had 25 students who decided to do something for the classroom exercise. And so we just start filling out this based on what it is that our school was able to accomplish. And students can fill this action, this out, but only the teachers can submit it at the end. And maybe we led the action, we developed some communication materials, and we communicated to the rest of the community, but ultimately maybe we only just did it ourselves. So the more that you click off here, the more points you're going to start earning. And you can see here that I've already earned 1.5 points just by filling out those first few questions. Did I incorporate any SDGs into instructional time? Maybe we did with clean water and affordable and clean energy. And so this will increase. And of course, we can come back later, and there's some room for description too. So it's always good to add some description so we can learn about what schools are doing. This is more for our data collection, but also for you guys, because in the future you can go back and see what you've done. The more details you put in here, the more it's going to benefit your eco team in future years. Next year you decide, oh, what did we do that YRE action card last year? And if so, what did we do? And you'll be able to access a lot of that data. So in this case, we'll come back later and get back to our plan. And so it's been updated by a few points from what I've just earned. And I can move into another action card if I wanted to, or see where I'm at with my achievements. So what we have here, well, achievements are our past successes, and this is imaginary school, so they haven't had any past certifications. But just to show you, as you certify with us, you'll see what your level of certification was: bronze, silver, gold, participant, platinum, over the years. In this section here. In the impact section, what we have here is we have a summary, kind of some of the highlights that you can share. You can generate this as a printable report. You can send it as a newsletter to your school or post it up on a wall. But it's a nice thing to see what you've done in the year. This is a nice little highlight of some of the actions, and the actions populate this automatically depending on which actions you've done. So if you did do an action to do with tree planting, this would populate it once you filled out the certification questions. What we've also done is partnered with ArcScoru. So it leverages their platform. It's a sustainability performance matrix, which is recognized as a standard for LEED certification in buildings. And so the back end of the platform collects impact data for schools, enabling them to benchmark their progress year over year and compare their success across the whole network. So if you wanted to do that, well, first you could see down here, we have liters of water used. So these are some of the impacts here and where we rank versus where an EcoSchool average would rank or where we were last year. So you can see some of these nice graphs that just kind of give you a quick little story about where you're at this year compared to previous years and compared to other EcoSchools in the network that are filling out the same information here. And I can show you here is EcoSchools in Canada. So as you might have guessed, during the COVID year, there's quite a lot of outdoor learning, over 433,000 hours of outdoor learning within our network of EcoSchools. Obviously, across Canada, it'd be a larger number, but as we grow our number of schools, this will be able to tell a very powerful story about what's happening year over year. Earth Day has happened the other day, so we had 46,000 students participate in Earth Day, which is an amazing number. And liters of water used, this is when we have these kind of ArcScoru type numbers of carbon emissions in kilowatt hours. I mean, not every school is going to be able to populate this data, but if they do, then they'll get to know what they're building in. And it's very helpful information for students as they want to be empowered with this data and say, oh, well, how much of a difference are we actually making? And have that data there when they wouldn't otherwise know it at all, I think is a great feature of our platform. I'll show you quickly the administration function here. And so in the so users that are admins, this is an area where they can start taking a deeper dive into the actions that they've done either this year or in previous years. If someone just wants a high-level view, say, okay, which actions have we completed this year, if any, and I can type in my school name. This is access to a lot of schools, so close your eyes. But we can download this as a spreadsheet, or we can even drill down to certification questions and see, well, who answered which questions which way, and get a. And so for us, we're able to extract this data and really get to see what's happening in schools, which were the popular actions, what were they doing with them, and learn really what's going on in schools and how do we share best practices and tell the story of what's going on. It's kind of what I'm going to talk about in a minute. But here you can see on the side, there's my team. So everybody that's on your team will show up here. We also have ways of getting support for the platform and giving feedback. And we have some frequently asked questions on our website with great videos on how to do virtually everything you need to do. So you don't need to reach out to us directly every time you get hung up. But it is, as I hope you've seen, fairly intuitive to get around our platform. We've tried to design it that way, and we've had quite a lot of experience doing this kind of platform over the years, but this is by far our greatest accomplishment yet. We're super proud of it, and we're it's a customized platform for us. It might be available to other EcoSchools around the world in coming years, but for now, we're very confident we're providing an extraordinary benefit to schools that are interested in their sustainability metrics, that are interested in having eco teams and having students take a leadership role by being able to create these plans and fill these cards out and take action at their schools. So what I'll do now, I'll keep this open in case there are questions afterwards, but I'll jump back into our presentation. And telling an actual story, as I mentioned, this is one of our larger goals as an organization, is as a national organization. We were born in Ontario, but we've now become a national organization, and we've invented, as you saw on the map earlier, we have schools from across the country. And as we grow and develop partnerships with other organizations across the country, we'll add more schools and be able to more concretely tell the story of what's going on in schools. It's difficult to know. We hear anecdotal stories about certain accomplishments and stories that are shared with us or shared more broadly through the media. But we'll have the data to back it up now. And that's really what we're trying to do with this platform, is be able to tell the story, empower students and schools with this data. So as we welcome more schools, we can tell this story with quantitative, measurable figures. It has been an interesting transition for us. We started as an environmental organization, very passionate about environmental actions. And as we have managed to slowly, we've kind of transformed ourselves into a tech company over the years, especially with this new platform and the development in it. The data we collect through our platform, it allows us to produce detailed reports to our partners. So if you do work with us, we can provide data for you. We work with partners, for example, that are interested in what kind of waste schools are producing, and if schools fill out those kinds of action cards, then we promote those specific action cards. Then we can get some of that data, which would otherwise almost be impossible to get. Schools that choose to give us energy and water data, as I mentioned, will be able to more effectively track GHG emissions and water usage and set targets, and they can then set targets for their schools each year. As an administrator of a board level, or board district, or school district, being able to kind of see that on that level might be very advantageous, and it might be cumbersome to do it any other way. So we've learned that we are providing a great service to people on both the admin side, but also on the school side and the student leadership side. And then of course school communities can take pride and gain further attention to their efforts by knowing how they rank nationally and how they were able to achieve their results. So as we are able to drill down by region, by city, by country. We can see really schools are leading the way, and whether or not we can share those stories and activate school communities all across the country. Partnerships, mentioned partnerships a little bit. Here are some of the partners that we've worked with since we started over 15 years ago. And really our success is very much due to the wonderful partnerships that we have, the networks that we have, the volunteers that work with us at our schools. I mean, everybody, all the members of the ECO team, the teachers, the administrators, they're all volunteering to kind of give us this data, but also to empower their students and make sure that we are providing, that they are being a sustainable school as best they can. We work with partners at all levels of the education sector, including individual schools and school boards and districts. We work with parent councils, municipal and provincial governments, and much more. We also work with many nonprofit partners who are doing incredible work for the environment, either in specific regions or across many regions in Canada. And there are many ways to partner with us. So if you work or volunteer for an organization that you think may have some alignment, please do reach out to Sierra or myself, or just ask us questions in the Q&A, and we can start that conversation about how we can work together. We'll give a plug. I know Lourdes is on the call, so I'll give a plug to our social media. It's a great way to stay connected with us. We have a relatively new, I can't call it brand new, but very nice, beautiful website. Please check it out, ecoschools.ca. You can connect to us through Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd say Twitter is our most dynamic channel with many schools, boards, and the general public involved in that channel. If you have a Twitter account, please consider following us, and of course, we will follow you back. All members of our community can register for the EcoSchools newsletter, which includes updates on the program, funding opportunities for schools, contests, resources, and much more. In conclusion, looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Please do reach out. There are emails there, Sierra and myself, and feel free. So I'll take a picture of this screen or memorize it, embed it in your brain, and please reach out if you'd like to work with us or learn more about our program. And now we can take questions. So I'll exit the sharing. And here we are. Okay. Hello, everyone.
A small, intimate group.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what we are. So yeah. If anything came up, we can jump back into the ECA. I'm happy to share as we walk through again. If there's something there that stood out to you that you wanted to ask questions about, or just general programs about the program, general questions about the program. Yeah.
I've got a few questions. Whenever is Ewan, why don't you go first?
We're just a few here, so sorry, go ahead.
That's all good. Yeah, thanks for that. Sorry I was a few minutes late. Really nice to connect with you in person. I know, Sierra, I recognize, I had thought maybe we'd met, but obviously we didn't in 2018 at the Ecom conference, but yeah, nice to see you. And I know I've seen your names around. So yeah, I'd love to, and maybe it's another conversation, but both through our regional network here in Southeast BC, you know, we've got the only network of school superintendents who are really keen to support this work across the region. And then also our network itself, which has over 500 educators now, which is super cool. So really excited you've gone national, and we've also gone national in our Canadian Outdoor Learning Store. And so we're looking to find ways to partner and support nonprofits. It's a charitable enterprise. And so I think it'd be really cool to see if there's ways we can work together and, you know, support and maybe incentivize some of your programs and work.
Yeah, let's definitely connect offline, Duncan. We already are hearing from school board representatives that we work with about the Outdoor Learning Store. York Region District School Board, I know, is on board with what you're offering. EcoSchools and Ecom, I think, is also offering some gift certificates for prizes right now. And yeah, we'd love to be able to connect further. Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I looked at your partner list, and our partner list nationally is like this. And, you know, I looked at your national advisory list, and I work closely with Kate and Carrie, and then Tanya, I work really closely with now. And awesome. So I think, yeah, it's probably an overdue conversation. It'll be
absolutely
really good to have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so I don't really have any questions. I thought it was a great presentation. I'm a teacher at St. Paul's High School in Winnipeg, and we're kind of newly trying to. We feel like we're kind of behind on making sure we've got, you know, our commitment to, you know, environmental literacy and awareness and agency for our students. And so we decided that, you know, for the next year we're going to join with EcoSchools. So we have that plan and ambition, and we have an environmental action committee of some staff members and students that are, you know, so it's kind of our first environmental green group that we have going on at the school. And so, yeah, I guess from listening to your presentation today, and we've already kind of been a little bit familiar with EcoSchools, but sounds like, you know, when we're starting next year, or maybe even at a staff meeting and a student meeting, we can talk about, you know, trying to kind of inform the teachers about this resource and maybe even get them to find a place for some of these projects in their classes.
Yeah, as we've mentioned, this is a brand new platform that's taken, we say it was 3 years, now we're saying 3.5 years. It's kind of like 4 or 5 years in the making. It's taken a lot of time and collaboration with a lot of our partners. And one of the things we've really wanted to do is ensure that we provide a really solid framework and toolbox, essentially, for schools to create a program and an environmental program that makes sense for them. And so really, we create the framework, and then you can invite as many people into the program. Now there's as many members as you want, so you can invite students, other staff members to be a member of your application and really participate in a way that makes sense for you. And what's really neat as well is, you know, it can be implemented by classroom, so really connected to curriculum. You know, if you're teaching a geography class, something on climate change, and, you know, you want your students to do some research and then take action on that and share that with the school community, that can be claimed in the application. If you want to run a whole school waste audit, you know, there's a lot of opportunities. And what's really neat about the program as well is there's a ton of resources that are available for you and your school. So, you know, if you're kind of new to the program and environmental learning and action, there's a lot of resources at your disposal that you can use to kind of inspire people and get started. And then, of course, I'm sure you're connected with other resources and community partners in your region in Winnipeg that, you know, if you're running programs with them, we recognize that work as well. So welcome to the EcoSchools community. And we're always available if you have any questions, or any of your students have questions about how they can run the program or certain campaigns. We're always available to answer those questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, no, and I love the gamification of the whole process. I was at another talk that we're talking about, or I guess it was a teacher that was at a school and they were part of EcoSchools, and I was kind of asking them some questions about joining EcoSchools. And one of the things she mentioned, a few tips, but one of the things she said is don't get too caught up in the points. Make sure it's about the resources and the people that are at EcoSchools to help schools, and, you know, you let the points be just there to drive student engagement.
Yeah, and it's hard when we have schools that have participated in it for a long time, and you know, the whole school community is very much identifies with being a high achieving platinum school, for example. It's hard to not focus on the points, but we really do encourage schools, especially when they're starting out, that they just engage in the program and provide opportunities for students and kind of learn something new and take action on something new. And yeah, not focusing on points, but it becomes hard after a while of people, you know, really identifying with the program.
Well, wonderful. I'm really excited. Thanks a lot for your talk today.
I also wanted to thank you very much for a great presentation, really inspiring. I do work with a federal agency called Polar Knowledge Canada, and would really appreciate the opportunity to connect with you about your work in rural and remote Canada, especially in Arctic and Northern Canada, and it'd be great to have a conversation offline.
We would love to connect with you as well offline. I think hopefully you got either mine or Ryan's email address. We're available through info@ecoschools.ca, and then you can be directed to the correct person to create those connections. And we'd love to, you know, we've just launched this program nationally. Last year, the program was a pilot program, so we ran it in Ontario, BC with a few select schools, and then New Brunswick. So this is the first year that we've opened it up to all of Canada. So we're also looking for ways to be able to connect meaningfully with Northern Region schools. So yeah, let's connect offline.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Nice to see you, Tim, live and in person. It's been too long.
Sure has, Duncan. Good to see you, man.
Hey, thank you, Sierra and Ryan, for that amazing presentation. I know I'm relatively new to the organization and I'm still learning, and so this was very helpful for me. Yes, actually, Ryan, if you don't mind sharing or maybe putting in the chat your email and Sierra's email, and then I can also do info@EcoSchools, just one more time for people to catch. One thing I'd like to note about our program as well is that we are a bilingual program, and so both the ECA and our programs are available in French and English. And one of the benefits, or one of the things we've been hearing about the French language program, is that it's very easy to switch back and forth, which is something that we think we've worked very hard on. And it's a way for us to connect and engage with French communities all over Canada, because we recognize our Francophone population. So yeah, so that's something
I can show that actually. Sorry, I should have forgot to mention.
Yeah,
I
think
just show how easy that is.
a few more minutes. Yeah.
So when you're in there, whether you're in action or not, you just at the top right corner here, you switch to Francais, and everything translates automatically. So even if a French class in an English school wanted to do it, or an English class in a French school wanted to do it, or just purely one language or the other, it's as easy as just going back and forth this way.
You don't have that as an automated system by chance, do you?
Automated in that, like they will just recognize what kind of school you are, and then
That it'll recognize what language you're typing and then automatically translate it to your other side, which
the next phase of development for that, yeah.
okay, when you find that, let me know, because mon français n'est pas très bien, but or I need to find someone better than me, like Tim, who is, I know, much better than me. Anyway.
A lot to explore on the platform, so if you guys do want to browse around, please reach out and we can try and get you a way to try it out.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you. A small intimate group, and hopefully we were able to answer your questions. Again, reach out to Ryan or myself, or just our general info at email if you have any questions, whether it's about running the program at your school or connecting on a partnership level. And follow us on all of our social media. And yeah, such a pleasure meeting you in person today, or I mean online in person.
Will do. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.